Eagles. That's the show. We're talking Eagles, not the Sixers, not the Phillies. Well, we might, but we're just going to promote this as an Eagles show. We'll get into why in a bit. We're talking Eagles. We're talking Week 3 NFL. We're talking Phillies if you guys want to, whatever you want. Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live in 30 seconds.
Fourth and goal.
And very good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live, Facebook, YouTube. You know the drill. Hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe button, that follow button. It is free to hit all those buttons. It doesn't cost you a thing. So smash those buttons. Share out the good word of Trending in the AM, the only morning show and the only sports show in Philly where your opinions actually matter. Where all the other sports shows are arguing and fighting with each other and laughing at their followers and suing each other. This is the place to be every single morning because this is the place where we talk and we discuss. We don't argue, we don't fight, except for when Man Chatter jumps in and says something stupid. Good morning, Nick. How you doing? It's a happy Friday. It is. It's Go Birds Friday. It's weird. It's always weird on a Friday when we don't play till Monday because I kind of got to stretch the Eagles talk to an extra day this week. What is up? Great show last night. Birds, beer, and BS. Beards up. Beards unite as we get started today. How about those New York Football Giants? They looked really good last night, right? So lots to talk about with the Eagles, with the NFL. Lots to get into with this week's schedule. I want to go through as we do every single Friday, all the Sunday games, and make some predictions. But I wasn't sure which way I wanted to start the show today, but I think I'm going to go with the basic talk and the most obvious thing that happened yesterday with the Eagles and with the Cowboys. I do want to touch on the fighting again. We've talked about it before. Another fight last night on the Sunday or Thursday night football game. But the Eagles yesterday at practice got a lot of talent back. James Bradbury back at practice. Reed Blankenship back at practice. Kenneth Gainwell back at practice. Not everybody. Nakobe Dean's still in IR. Obviously, Avonte Maddox is out for the year. But three core pieces of this team, two specifically, in the secondary back. And I was thinking, did we overreact? Like we did have one really big injury with Avonte Maddox. Yes, I get that. But some of these other injuries, they're starting to resolve themselves pretty quickly, and that's good. Where reverse conversation, the Dallas Cowboys yesterday at practice, Trayvon Diggs, their elite cornerback who they just paid $98 million this offseason to, tore his ACL and is out for the year, and that's a huge loss. And I saw somebody tweet it, and I never really had time to really think about it. Some people were tweeting out the Maddox injury is a bigger loss than the Cowboys with Diggs, and I don't know if I agree because Stefon Diggs is one of those elite outside cornerbacks in the NFL. So while we've had some injuries so far, and yes, the Avonte Maddox one is a big deal, it could be much worse. We haven't lost anybody in that all-pro level quite yet for the season. The James Bradbury losing him for a week was a big deal, but he's back. Reed Blankenship is already going to be back this week. The Kenneth Gainwell thing, I almost wish he wouldn't have been back. Not asking for injury, but more thinking about the whole aspect of, getting DeAndre Swift more involved for another week in a row. But, the injuries for the Eagles, which we've been panicking for a week about, have kind of just cleaned themselves up after 1 week. And it's really great to see. Pulled a hammy too. I did not see that one. I tried to stay online as much as I could yesterday and read up as much as I could, get myself back in the groove here. But I did not see this one. There's a lot of things that have been happening around the NFL injury wise. And while we feel like the injuries are injury prone or starting to get injured quite frequently, seems for the most part these Eagles injuries are quick to heal or quick. We're getting past them pretty quickly. And that's a big deal as we get into a pretty tough stretch of games here which we thought was going to be easy. But after 2 weeks, you think about it, the Bucks are 2-0, Washington's a really good team. We got the Dolphins and the Jets on the horizon. Getting these guys healthy is very important. And it's so funny. I was listening to, Nick Sirianni spoke before practice yesterday for like 12 minutes and clearly said, I can't comment on any of the injuries and I don't comment, whatever. And then those guys that he was asked about, specifically Bradbury, was right out in the field 15 minutes later for practice. I don't get why he couldn't say, yeah, he's going to be out there. I mean, you're really pushing it there a little bit with that, Nick Sirianni. The not saying much or not saying anything. But it is so big when we're going. I know Baker Mayfield, we crush Baker Mayfield on a regular basis. It is such big news that the Eagles get James Bradbury and Reed Blankenship back this week. Such huge news because Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are one of the better, probably one of the top 5 or 6 wide receiver tandems in football. They're making Baker Mayfield look good, especially last week. You know, it's a huge deal. And on the other side are division rivals who, some would have said the Giants are going to be a good team. Obviously, we see the Giants are an atrocious team. I know they're 1-2, but that one win versus the 2 losses just tells you a lot about that team. Them losing Stephon or Trayvon Diggs is a massive, massive big deal. Good morning. What's up, Eric? How you doing? Tuning in to Training the Aim is a big deal too. Smash that like button. Yeah, that is right. It costs you nothing to do it. Likes help that algorithm. Dude, I take a 4 days off and all of a sudden my algorithm is shot to hell. Got 102 total views counting replays yesterday. What the hell? I'm used to 200 views on YouTube. Come on. You know, all you do is you put the Phillies and the Sixers in the title, and all of a sudden watch that algorithm bottom out like there's no tomorrow. Phil, what's good? What's happening, Reality Check? How you doing, my man? Great to have you here. Um, Godwin played 66% in the slot. That's true. It's fair. I, I still consider him an outside guy to an extent, or one of the top 2 guys. I would still hope the Eagles keep either Bradbury or Slay on either Godwin or Evans every play. I would hope Sean Desai's smart enough to know Mario Goodrich or Josh Joby can't be covering one of these 2 elite guys. So I don't know how they'll play the defense, but having Reed Blankenship also back at safety helps with that as well. It's so crucial that those 2 guys have gotten back so quickly. Kenny Gainwell coming back is key. Of course, K1 would say that because Kenny Gainwell. I don't know. Maybe K1 is actually Kenny Gainwell in disguise. I mean, that's not. I can't tell on my little screen here, this little image here, but maybe that's a picture of Kenny Gainwell. Maybe you are Kenny Gainwell. I don't know. I was hoping Kenny Gainwell wouldn't be back because we keep hearing from Nick Sirianni that it's still the hot hand is going to be the hand that plays, and I don't like that. I don't want to see Kenny Gainwell getting the football more than DeAndre Swift. At most, it should be equal. At most, it should be equal. It should be a little bit in the DeAndre Swift favor. I really hope it is. Dude, I was calling the Giants all offseason. They are a 5-win team. Hey, I felt like they were a 5-win team, the Giants, but I was kind of pressured. I felt the pressure of the fan base, and I put them at 9 wins just because I felt like maybe I was missing something. But when the Giants, they got beat twice now, really bad, 40-0 to the Giants last night, smoked by the Niners. Obviously banged up, no Saquon, no Thomas. Lots of banged up players on that team. They got smoked, and then the only time they won against the Cardinals, they only won because the Cardinals are tanking, and it was like, oh crap, we're not supposed to win. We better lose this game, and they just gave it to the Cowboys, the Giants. The Giants might not win 5 games this year, from what I've seen. That organization, it's a shame because Brian Daboll's a good coach. They're trying to change that organization, but it's not going in the right direction. And I'm going to put it on them giving Daniel Jones all that money. Sirianni kind of said Agent Zero, number 1. I did not hear him. I did not hear that. I mean, I heard what he said, but I kind of didn't hear that. To me, it sounded like he was still going to ride the hot hand that Kenneth Gainwell might, if he has 2 or 3 good runs early in a game, might dominate it. I don't know. That's just my opinion, Travis. I translated what he said a little bit different to you than you. Eagle, how do you Bentley? E Money Bentley says Eagles are going to win 45-10. Wow, I won't get my prediction till Monday. But that's a bold prediction there. Eagles are 5-point favorites at this point. I checked before the show. That's bold. That's really bold. The Buccaneers defense is solid, especially against the run. There's going to have to be a Jalen Hurts passing attack to build the lead. The Buccaneers defense, I mean, shut down Jalen Hurts in 2021. Same Todd Bowles led defense. Few different players, but some similar. I don't know if we can win that big. I think we're going to win. I'm not going to. I'll tease it. I think they're going to win, but I don't know if it's going to be a 35-point blowout. I hope you're right because that would be fantastic. And with the 7:15 start time, it could be to bed, quick, done, bing, bang, boom. It'd be fantastic if you were right on that e-money. So many people were like Giants will. I thought those people were crazy. There were people that thought the Giants would win more games than the Eagles, more games than the Cowboys. Those people are nuts, nuts. Kittle got me 16 last night. Well, at least you didn't trade him yet. I don't know. George Kittle is kind of weird to me. He gets ranked up in there that 1, 2, 3 tight end. Yet he's a great tight end, but yet he does so much of the dirty work too. I don't know. That's George Kittle to me. Sometimes he's a great fantasy asset. Sometimes he's not. In that aspect, the disrespect shown towards Kenny G is borderline criminal. We're not disrespecting Kenny Gainwell. We're just saying he's not a lead back. In what world does Kenny Gainwell get 20 touches? What do you think, K1? Kenny Gainwell would have done against the Vikings with 28 rushes? You think he would have put up 175 yards? He probably would have ran between those two linemen. That one idiot Cowboys fan breaking down film said that Swift should have ran in between where their ass cheeks were touching. We got Gary chiming in with a prediction: Eagles 30-21. Yeah, that's a more logical or reasonable prediction than 45-10. No offense, money. For me, I don't know. I've been bouncing around between 28 and 33 points for the Eagles. I'm anywhere from 17 to 28 points for the Buccaneers right now. I'm just still curious to see how this defense will produce, and I'm still curious to see if Jalen Hurts can get back into 2022 Jalen Hurts form. That's going to be the big key right there. Gainwell better only touch that ball to give Swift a breather. Hey, reality check. I'm with you. K1's going to tell you you're disrespecting the G, but I agree with you on that because Kenny Gainwell is a change of pace guy. Fill in chat. Who should I play? Tight end right spot. Hunter Henry or Tutu Atwell? Let me see, Eric. Who's let me see them. Why don't you put in the comments the matchups for each of them, and so I don't have to Google search that. I haven't done a full fantasy football breakdown. Reality check saying Atwell. I would probably lead in that direction too, but I got to see the matchup. So Eric, put your matchups in there, and I'll let you know. In 2023, though, hard for me to compare defenses 2 years apart. Yeah, it's hard to do that. I get that, Brandon, but it's also on the flip side a lot of similarities between the defenses and a lot of players still there. So there's a lot of similarities along with differences. 200 plus yards on the ground for Kenny Gainwell against the Vikings. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Henry is Mac Jones' struggle target. Start him in PPR. K1 with that. It's a fair point. I just not sure who Atwell's playing and what the deal is there just yet. Are the Giants going to have the first pick of 24 draft? No. That will be the Cardinals. But that Caleb Williams guy might actually. Can you imagine if the Giants get the number 1 overall pick and get Caleb Williams? Who would he rather play for? He already said if he doesn't like who's number 1 pick, he's going to stay in college. I want a 40 burger, but I know Nick is too nice sometimes. This was one of the things we talked about in the offseason, not keeping the foot on the pedal all game long. I would love to see the Eagles put up a 40 burger against somebody this year and just run up a score just to prove that they can do it. Gainwell is a change of pace back, and that's all. And there's nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong with that. Darren Sproles had a borderline Hall of Fame career being a change of pace back. So there ain't nothing wrong with that. Remember when the Giants thought they were drafting Devontae? That's a great little. I hope there's a Giants fan watching somewhere right now. A little subtle dig there. Well, they definitely get Marvin Harrison Jr. with the top 5 pick. Maybe that's possible. There's a lot of hype around Marvin Harrison Jr. We all know Gainwell is fine, good, but we all know he doesn't have an elite aspect to his game. Great comment. Again, K1 sitting here taking notes, and he's going to block each and every one of us. That disparages the great Kenny Gainwell. Yeah, I mean he's a good running back. I have no problem with him in a rotation. I'm okay with DeAndre Swift not getting 28 touches. If you've got 35 rushes, if that kind of a rushing attack, you're not going to get that many. Let's backtrack. If we're going to run the ball 25 times in a game, I have no problem with Swift getting 10, Gainwell getting 10, and Jalen Hurts getting 5. That's a good balance right there. Maybe you'll sprinkle in 1 or 2 Boston Scotts, although Scott was on the injured report yesterday with a concussion, so maybe there's no Boston Scott this week. I'm not sure even when the concussion happened. Giants will have the 3rd pick next year. Bears will be 2. Well, the Bears might take Marvin Harrison, at 2 then. Um, that Bears team, man, we touched on it late in the show yesterday. Jalen Hurts versus Justin Fields, and Justin Fields throwing his coaches under the bus. He meant it so much. He had to go give a fake hug to his coach on the sideline. He had a fake hug. If you saw that hug, tell me that was the most unenthusiastic hug you've ever seen. All right, so it's Henry versus the Jets, Atwell versus the Bengals. It's Atwell for me. That Jets defense is all. I actually think when we get into it, I was glancing at the matchups and the lines before we get into predictions later in the show. I actually think even though it's Zach Wilson, the Jets win that game against the Patriots this week because the defense, the Jets defense is going to have to carry that team, and they're going to do it this week. Atwell versus the Bengals. The Bengals, I have no idea what's going on with the Bengals. The Bengals might not be as great as we thought this year. The injury bug might have caught up to them. The coming down to earth might have. The division's tough. I'm going Atwell versus the Bengals in that. That would be my choice. Revisit it with me Monday on the show, Eric, and let me know if I made the right choice because I have neither of those on any of my teams, so I won't be playing close attention. K1, I got you, man. I know you're kidding. Well, I hope you're kidding. Either that or you really are Kenny Gainwell in disguise. Thanks, guys. K1, Phil, and yeah, I appreciate it. We appreciate it. Anytime you guys got fantasy football questions, drop them. I don't have every matchup in my head ready right now because I'm still catching up from vacation, but by next week, I'll know every player on every team and who they're going up against. I might even do a Friday night or Saturday night fantasy football show starting this week or next week where we just do fantasy football questions late at night, either on a Friday or Saturday. Everybody does a Sunday morning one, so I'm thinking about doing a different time one. So I love answering those fantasy football questions and putting them on the table. It's criminal. We are not using our only power back in Rashad Penny. Yeah, so reality check. I don't know, man. I don't know what the deal is with Rashad Penny. Does he not have it anymore? Because Boston Scott clearly was more important to the offense last week than Penny was, and you obviously saw how we were running the ball effectively. You know, you hear a lot of rumors. Like I heard him, and we said he wasn't even going to make this team to begin with, and he made it by the skin of his teeth. And they're moving a lot of people around. But if they eventually have to promote a punter to the active 53, and there's no injuries to counter that, Penny might get cut. I'm not sure. Maybe Rashad Penny just doesn't have the burst that we hoped he would have, and the speed's still there. Maybe he's just washed from all the injuries. So we bet 0, and you're going to go with 14. Run first rep Monday. I don't know. I'm hoping it's look. The Buccaneers defense is one of the best run defenses in football. So I don't care who the lead back is on Monday night. It's not going to matter. There's no way we're going to rush for that many rushing yards like we did against Minnesota this week. It's going to be a pass heavy. It's going to have to be a pass heavy offense. It's going to have to be. Jalen Hurts is going to have to show that last year. I'm not trying to say last year was a fluke. Don't put words in my mouth. Last year's growth wasn't a fluke, and that he still got it. I talked that there might be a little regression from Jalen Hurts this year. I didn't expect to see this much of it, but he's still winning football games. He's still completing a high percentage of passes. But he is going to have one of those 300-yard Jalen Hurts type games this week, without a doubt, for us to not just win, but win comfortably. Do you think Micah would be this good if Howie drafted him? He has the perfect defense coordinator in Dan Quinn and puts him in pass rush rather than Micah Parsons would be good on any of the 32 NFL teams. Micah Parsons would be great on 31 of the 32 teams. I don't think that whoever drafted him, it would have mattered. He was going to be elite no matter what. I had the Eagles. I remember back when that draft was leading up, I was doing a weekly show, not a daily show. And I was talking that the Eagles should trade up to like 5 or 6. We originally had 6 with the Dolphins, and we traded back, then we traded back up. If you remember how all that worked out, I thought the Eagles should have stayed at 6 or even moved back up to 6 to get Micah Parsons. That's how elite Micah Parsons was to me. I think when we go back and do a redraft, everybody likes to redraft drafts in the NBA and NFL. Micah Parsons will be one of the 3 first players taken when you redraft that draft class, in my opinion. Micah would be better as an Eagle. He might be. It's a long season and series, apportioning running back value wisely. So you telling me we're going to get that big Rashad Penny game at some point? I don't know about that. But yeah, but I want to see that, ratio be more fair amongst all the running backs. So I don't want DeAndre Swift rushing 28 times a game. I don't need to burn him out or risk him. He's got an injury history. You got to spell those running backs as best you can. Penny run out of juice last game. He looked like my look. He only touched the ball like 3 times, 2 times maybe. I forget the exact number, Travis, and he just didn't look like it. Even in the preseason games, it's not like he did anything special. He just might not. The injuries might have caught up to him. Maybe his legs just aren't there. I don't think you give him the ball 28 times last week. He ain't getting 175 rushing yards. Just not. He doesn't have it. What do you mean he ran out of gas? He got the ball like well. What we're saying is it's not that he ran out of gas from running the ball too much. He's out of gas as a football player. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's got the burst anymore to be that kind of guy. The Niners have the best D in the league, so we might not get our pass game going yet. Well, we got the Buccaneers, not the Niners. So I think we get the passing game going this week. Javon Hargrave is back too. Was he out? I didn't even know. I didn't watch last night's game. I don't hide my distaste for having to have Prime to watch Thursday night football. I will not watch a Thursday night game this year as long as it's on Prime, except for the Eagles, which will always be on a local channel anyway. So I don't have to get Prime. Um, if Swift rushes for big numbers this year, I would pay him in the offseason. But how much? Look, the Eagles are never going to pay anybody. Look, Kenneth Gainwell's going to be up for an extension after this year too. The Eagles are just going to keep the rinse and repeat with the running back thing. Find cheap guys, and that's going to be Howie doesn't change his MO just be for one player. You think about it over the course of time. He's never highly valued linebackers. He's never highly valued safeties really. He values the backup quarterback more than running back sometimes. Think about it. Marcus Mariota's getting $5 or $6 million. Our whole running back crew is making 7. So unless he can get Swift on like a 2-year cheap deal, no matter how big he plays this year, he'll be gone. That's fine. I'm okay with that. You can find another player. If Micah had Reddick on his other side, I don't think we bring in Reddick though. If you draft Micah Parsons, you never bring in Hassan Reddick. Reality check. You don't spend that money on Reddick. You spend it somewhere else on the team. I could use Penny getting big games by week 11, 12 if he's still on the team. K1. To me, there's a scenario where Rashad Penny's not on this team that late into the season. If everybody's healthy by week 12, you might need that extra roster spot for something else. A roster spot's going to have to go to a punter eventually. You're not going to be able to use that practice squad manipulation for punters forever. I don't know. I don't know if he's here that long. And if he is, that means, to me, if Penny's still here in week 12, that means somebody else goes down for a bigger stretch. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out. I feel like if Swift ain't getting the start, then the Eagles are overthinking things. Of course it. But see, the thing is, and that's, we praise Howie Roseman. We praise Nick Sirianni. We praise the Eagles so much for the way they do business. But there's still a lot of stubbornness that comes out of our coaching staff and front office. And Kenneth Gainwell has been pushed down our throats for weeks and months that he's going to be the guy, and they like him a lot. And that's why they let Miles Sanders go. Kind of feel like they're going to keep shoving Kenneth Gainwell down our throats to prove that they were right. And look, Kenneth Gainwell didn't have a bad week 1. He didn't have a great week 1, but not a bad week 1. But behind this offensive line, when they're blocking well, and that's what they do best is run block, Kenneth Gainwell can get yards, and he's going to look good over the course of a season behind this offensive line. So there is a chance that they force him the ball early. He looks good, so they went with the hot hand, and he keeps touching it. I was talking about sorry, my bad. Sorry, there's too much going on here, Trying to keep up with them. Thoughts on Trayvon Diggs? I started the show with it, and I'll go into it again. It's a huge loss for Dallas. And I said it yesterday. I don't wish injury on anybody. I don't want Cowboys fans having an excuse. Well, AJ Brown at 170 yards receiving against us, and you won only because Trayvon Diggs was down. We get him back. We got you because it gives an excuse. I want to beat the best at 100%, and it's a huge loss. And while losing James Bradbury for one game was a big deal, him being back is great. And Trayvon Diggs is a bigger loss to the Cowboys than Avonte Maddox is to the Eagles. I saw some people tweeting out that the Maddox injury was a bigger deal. I don't think so. Trayvon Diggs is one. I know he's a boomer bust type cornerback. There's a reason why the Cowboys paid him 90 some $1 million because Jerry Jones is an idiot, but also because he's an elite cornerback in the NFL. So it's a big, big loss, Trayvon Diggs, Marshawn. I feel even though Swift will go over 1K yards this year, Howie will be able to get him cheap because of the injury history. Maybe you might be right there. I think he gets 1,000 yards, but all-purpose yards. We said it. We did the over/under. I said Swift was right around 1,000, and Gainwell would be right around 800 combined. And I still feel that should be the way it goes. And if he gets 1,000 all-purpose yards, you might be able to get him cheap. He won't be able to get a Miles Sanders level deal. He'll be cheaper than that. So maybe. How he does value offensive coordinators after either. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. We'll see. It's going to be a big game for Brian Johnson this week. I think Brian Johnson has more pressure on him than Sean Desai this week because you're going to have to pass the ball this week, and you're going to have to get creative, and Jalen Hurts is going to have to see the middle of the field. A lot of pressure this week on him. You can because Micah would have been on his rookie deal. Oh, they could have, but I'm saying they might not have. They might not have invested that money in Hassan Reddick because of Parsons drafting him. So my bad. Got Niners and Bucks defense in mind. Yeah, that's fine. I got you. Great pass rush. Not enough time to pass, even though we have the highest. Yeah, and the thing is, if they get their front 4 to 6 players on the Bucks, Travis, are elite. Their secondary can be picked apart. It's going to be on this offensive line and what kind of pass protection they can do, but also on Jalen Hurts because Jalen Hurts through 2 weeks, you've seen it. He's been quick triggered. He's been happy. I like to call it happy feet when quarterbacks read their first read and take off with the slightest sign of pressure. I know the Devontae Smith pass for a touchdown. He hung in there and threw a great deep ball in the face of pressure. But Jalen Hurts, for the most part this year, has been sketchy under pressure. At least confidence wise. So it's going to be a big part of the game right there. So you're not going to find the room to run as much as they did last week. The fascination with playing our press D-backs 10 yards from the line of scrimmage is so stubborn to this coaching staff. Look, there's so much stubbornness that goes on a regular basis with this team. For as much as we love this team and we praise them for how much better they've gotten across the board as an organization, a lot of stubbornness that happens and goes on. A lot of it. And it's through multiple regimes too. So it's really interesting the way they don't make those decisions. Howie Roseman should change his drafting strategy. He should draft a cornerback in the second round to be our backup quarterback. Um, Howie Roseman has changed his drafting strategy. Let's be honest. Howie Roseman changed it by sticking in those first 2 to 3 rounds with elite players from championship level teams. So that's good. And I don't know if we need another second round quarterback. We got a second round quarterback, and he's going to be here for a long, long time. Diggs' injury is just going to be excuses now. That's and that's why I don't like to see anybody get injured. Period. We barely talked about the Nick Chubb injury. That was just brutal, man. Brutal. Um, I don't want to see people get injured. Period, because of you don't want to see people get hurt. It's not. I'm not that kind of person. But also for Cowboys fans, because we just know what Cowboys fans are like. Of course, you're just opening the door for them to complain and make excuses. Trayvon Diggs is the reason that they aren't going to the Super Bowl now. I can't stand that kind of stuff. Um, I meant I kind of blew that joke. Dang, I must have missed the joke. You blew it so bad, I missed the joke. And I'm sorry, but I'm replacing Maddox and letting him go. He get dude. Reality check. We talked about this on this show in the offseason. I'm not sure if you were here for that show. Talked about it that we always talk about Joel Embiid and how injury prone he is, or all these guys that are always hurt. And no one ever talks about Avonte Maddox and Dallas Goedert and their injury history. And Avonte Maddox is guaranteed to miss time every year. And when he's healthy, he is one of the better slot corners in the NFL. I get it. But if you can't help the team from the tub. You can't make the club from the tub. But Vontae Maddox, I don't know. It's kind of like just he's there, and that's it. He's got to be moved on from. I disagree that we are going to be able to run on not or aren't going to be able to run on Tampa. We're the best run blocking team. Okay, not be able to run is different than dominating with the run game. The Buccaneers have given up an average of 54 rushing yards a game. Might we get more than that? Possibly, yes. Can you set the pass up by showing that run? Absolutely. But you're not going to rush for 200 yards. You might not rush for 150 yards as a team against this defense. You got to put. You're going to need to score 30 points in this game. You're not going to do it by having a 15 play drive with 13 runs. I don't care how great our defensive or offensive line is at run blocking. It's not. It's not going to be able to produce those kind of numbers. That's where I'm getting at. The guy I'm hoping I'm going up against has a boomer bust fantasy roster. It's either explodes like a mushroom or bomb farts like a whooping cushion. That's kind of been my fantasy strategy always. There was one year I outscored my opponents by an average of 80 points a week, and I lost in the first round of the play. I went 13-0 in the regular season, lost the first round of the playoffs because my team that was averaging 195 points scored 80 points in the first round of the playoffs. The boomer bust strategy, man, it sucks, man. It's a great strategy, but also a disappointing strategy at the same time. Mike Evans is amazing. Going to be a great challenge for Slay. I can't wait for it either. I talked about it yesterday, reality check, that Mike Evans might be the most underrated wide receiver in football. I believe he's had 1,000-yard receiving season every year of his career. 7, 8 years in the league. He's had so he's so good and so consistent. Yet he's never put in that top 10 receiver grouping. He's never talked with the Jamar Chases, the Stephon Diggs, those guys. And he's just as good. He's just as good as A.J. Brown. And he never gets that. He had that little stretch with Tom Brady, but outside of that, he hasn't even had elite quarterback play most of his career. He still puts up numbers. Hertz has been doing his best Mariota impression the past 2 weeks. Don't say that, Eric. Don't say that. That's heartbreaking. He just hasn't been as good. There's something off on Jalen Hurts, and I think it's mental to an extent, and I'm not sure if there's a communication issue, and I don't mean on the field communication like here in the play. I mean a communication issue in the strategy between Brian Johnson and Jalen Hurts. Everyone just assumed because Brian Johnson and Jalen Hurts have known each other for 400 years that they were going to be fine. They were going to click instantly. No, it doesn't work that way. And Brian Johnson and him are not on the same page. And I think we see it. I think this long week, that long stretch of days off, I'm hoping Brian Johnson and Jalen Hurts are in the lab, cooking things up and trying to figure out what does Jalen Hurts want? What does Brian Johnson want? What's going to work? Because there is a disconnect there right now. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. I would put Bradbury on Evans with the size and speed. I think the way it's going to work, Travis, is that they're going to stay on their favorite sides, and whatever side Evans lines up on is who's going to cover who. Unless they decide they want to put Bradbury in the slot to cover Godwin and then have Slade drape Evans. But most likely, if those two guys stay on the outside, it's just going to be whatever side lines up. I think both are more than capable of shutting down Mike Evans. I see the C in there, and I'm thinking Chris Evans for a second. He ain't no Captain America, that's for sure. That's kind of low. Yeah, I'll put it back up. That's pushing it. Call him Marcus Mariota. Pushing it, Eric. Eric trying to get a 5-minute ban here. Makes me wonder if Mariota is really that bad, or is it Brock Johnson's play calling? Man, Eric, you're really trying to stir that pot this morning. I'm not sure I got the energy for that kind of pot stirring. Wentz was supposed to be here for a long time. I know Wentz was supposed to be here for a long time, and Wentz should have been here a long time. I blame Jadeveon Clowney for the Wentz situation. I will always blame Jadeveon Clowney. All right, we're at the 8:49 mark here. We've been live for 35 minutes. We got 15 likes on YouTube, 6 on Facebook. Make sure you hit that like button if you're watching. Drop your comments in the comment section, like the Core 12 is doing right now. I greatly appreciate any and all support on this show. It is free to support this show, and all the support from you guys is needed massively on a daily basis. Eric, they're dressing Mariota in Hurts' jersey. Oh, is that what they're doing? They're trying to get their money out of Marcus Mariota. He's actually been the one playing. What's my take on the game last night? Well, since I didn't physically watch the game, Davon, I can't give a deep, deep breakdown on last night's game. But what I will tell you is the Giants are a train wreck, and I was pressured into not giving the Eagles only 5 wins, or the Giants only 5 wins on the season. I put them at 9. The Giants are a bad football team, and there is a big mistake made by giving all that money to Daniel Jones. They should have moved on from him. And as long as Daniel Jones is the quarterback of the New York Football Giants, they are going to stink. And the 49ers are a great team, but the 49ers have not been tested yet. I mean, hell, last week they got pushed by the Rams. The 49ers are still one of the top 3 teams in the NFC. The Giants are one of the bottom 3 or 4 teams in the NFC. Washington might finish with more wins at this point than the Giants. That's my takeaway, big picture from last night's game without watching a play, just seeing highlights. Did you report that Portland has put a timeline on the Lillard trade? No, I did not see that. I don't care about Dame Lillard anymore, Marshawn. Like, I'm so over Dame. Like, the Dame drama is almost more frustrating than the James Harden drama. And the James Harden drama affects us directly as Sixers fans. So Dame Lillard, to me, I have the DTM, the DTM list, the dead to me list. Dame Lillard's dead to me. I could care less about him anymore until the Sixers trade for him, and all of a sudden I'm Dame Lillard all the way again. But no, the Bucks D is legit right now. They're playing great at the moment. The Bucks have played well. I would never have thought I would have put the Bucks in my top 10 power rankings at any point. Once Tom Brady retired, everyone assumed the Bucks were just going to roll over and play dead. They're still a good team, and it just shows that great wide receivers, great offensive line can elevate your quarterback. And Baker Mayfield's having a great start to the season so far. Vita Vea is an immovable object, and the Bucks linebackers are very good. I don't see exactly. I agree with you, Mister. We've talked about this a few times already. I think it's going to be an air game. It's got to be an air game. You're going to have to pass protect. It's going to be on. Vita Vea is going to line up over Kelsey and Cam Jurgens' side, I believe. I think it's the Cam Jurgens. It's going to be a big test for young Cam Jurgens, and him and Jason Kelsey are going to have to be on the same page blocking. They're going to have to do a lot of work together to shut him down. It's going to be interesting. Just Stoutland, University of Stoutland, is going to be in prime form this week. He is honestly the best 9 years, 1,000 yards with quarterbacks like John. You're talking about Mike Evans. It's 9 years. I thought it was 7 or 8, but 9 years of 1,000 yards. NFL reality check. Think about that. Jameis Winston, Mike Glennon, Johnson, Baker Mayfield right now. Yeah, he had a couple years with Tom Brady. But 9 years of 1,000 yards receiving. Nobody puts the respect on Mike Evans' name. Nobody. And he deserves it, very much so. Guys, Hurts is not playing bad. People are coming with new defensive style. Absolutely agree. But the thing is, Travis, they're coming at him with new things. So we've had 2 weeks now. Now it's time for Brian Johnson, your offensive coordinator, to adjust, to find ways to get Hurts going. You know, it's not like, they can't counter the counter. They got counter punched. Now it's up to them to counter the counter punch, to juke when they jive. I get what you're saying. I think it's spot on, Travis. I just think that it's time for the Eagles now to find a way around the adjustments that have been made. Tampa barely beat Chicago last week. Chicago's defense, yeah, man, that Chicago stuff, man, it's insane. It really is. And as long as Justin Fields is the quarterback in Chicago, Justin Fields, to me, he's better to an extent than Daniel Jones, but it's barely. If I had to pick one or the other to run my franchise, I don't know or to build my franchise around. I don't know which one I would take. I might say screw them both and go get me Marcus Mariota. I mean, Chicago's a train wreck. Justin Fields is a train wreck. That's going to blow up fast, fast, fast. I've noticed D's are playing a lot of dime on us to take away the middle of the field. And I brought up his spray chart, Jalen Hurts' spray chart last week against the Vikings. He threw the ball over the middle once. Like, it was all short and to the outside. That's it. He had a couple deep balls and nothing over the middle. Jalen's got to figure. Maybe last week's running game and reminding the league how great of a running team the Eagles are. Maybe that opens up the middle of the field a little bit more because now the Buccaneers and other teams are going to have to. They still run the ball effectively, and they don't care whether Jalen Hurts throws for 400 or 100. They're just going to win games. Maybe we got to play up in the box a little bit more. Maybe that opens up some of the passing attack. Maybe. What is up, Kyle? How is Boston? 103 RB. Man, I was looking at it this morning, Kyle. Just think the Nick Castellanos turnaround. Had 13 home runs last year. He's got 28 already this year. 63 RBI, 62 RBIs last year. 103 already this year. He only played like 130 games last year. He's played all but 3 this year. He's played borderline Gold Glove defense. Those words never should be put together. But yeah, how about that? I hope you enjoy Boston, Kyle. Enjoy the time with the wifey up there in Boston. See a baseball game. Drink lots of beer. Check it all out. Should be a nice weekend away. I'm glad you invited us to come with you. You know what I mean? You know, it'd been nice. We could have done a show from Boston. It's annoying every time I get a Dame Lillard update from. Dude, I don't even have Bleacher Report. I can't. I can't. And I don't have notifications for any of those apps turned on. I don't need those updates. I don't need them at all. Um, LOL. My son said, "Who's the guy with the James Harden beard?" I told him, "Watch his freaking mouth." And this beard is 10 times better than the James Harden beard, without a doubt. Phil's beard is the equivalent of prime Tom Selleck mustache. Wow, you're giving me prime Tom? Are you giving me like old school '80s Tom Selleck? Or are you giving me like Tom Selleck from Friends mustache? You giving me Tom Selleck's blue blood mustache? I mean, I got a little bit of gray if you zoom in, so maybe it's older Tom Selleck's mustache. It's perfect, like Bret Hart's sharpshooter. I don't know. I was a Scorpion Deathlock guy myself over Bret Hart. Just so you know, Bret Hart, most overrated wrestler of all time. There, I said it. I said it. You can quote me on that. We are the hunters on Monday's game. They are the prey. Fans said they offense will get annihilated by the best D line in the world. Look, it, I either see this, either being a complete and total blowout or like a nail biter. It's not going to be like a 7 or 8 point win. I don't know, Travis. I'm glad I've got the weekend to keep thinking about this game before making an official prediction and keys to victory next week on Monday morning. I'm glad because I'm really not sure how this game's going to play out. But I will say this: I love the 7:15 start time. Love the 7:15 start time. It's so much better. Underrated development from Casty is him moving out of Simmons' old house. Did he move out of the house? Maybe that was the secret. If he really did move out of Ben Simmons' house this year, that is the secret. Anybody that lives in Ben Simmons' house just is going to suck at whatever job, whether they're a mailman, an athlete, or I don't know how a mailman would afford that house, but you get the picture. They all would stink. Those short passes on the chart were mostly checkdowns to the running backs. I don't mind adding running backs. I don't mind adding them to the running backs to the past game. That's what we heard all offseason was going to happen. That there was going to be a lot of running going on, or running back out of the backfield. Well, Phil, I have a good day. Oh, well, you got to get out of here. That's disappointing. You're breaking my heart, reality check, that you got to leave. You don't got to work. Forget about that. Forget about work. But appreciate you, NFL Reality Check. Thanks for tuning in today. Be back Monday morning, 8:15. Sweet chin music is greater than a sharpshooter, without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. Although I turned in on Impact Wrestling last night, and the last call is a great super kick as well. Just so you know. Go Birds, Mad Chatter, late to the party, Mad Chatter. Make sure you hit the like button, Mad Chatter. You gotta hit the like button. Magnum, you're calling this a Magnum PI beer? Wow. Maybe. Um, when I shave my beard for my WrestleMania tickets, I'm going to ask him just to leave the mustache on, and maybe I'll have a week or two with just a mustache on this show. TMC is in for a reality check. Is he? Mailman in front of the yeah. My bad on the choice of jobs there. No mailman is buying Ben Simmons' house without a shadow of a doubt. That was just like I don't know. It'd be like saying, give me your favorite actor or something like that. Or like John Wick 5. Keanu Reeves moves into Ben Simmons' house, then John Wick 5 is the worst John Wick of all time or something like that. Like whenever you're living in Ben Simmons' house, you suck at your job, plain and simple. Core 12 has a deep bench. Core 12 it's almost like Core 12 plus the Core 12 bench. We got a reg family here. But the algorithm's sucking right now. The views have dropped this week. I think taking a few days off and putting the Phillies picture in the thumbnail killed us, man. Barely cracked 100 views on replay yesterday. Man, brutal. Um, yeah, he got called to the H. His boss caught him watching and turned his computer off. Um, Word on the street: James Harden takes up residence of Ben Simmons' house during the playoffs. Maybe, maybe. I don't know. Um, the Sixers, man, we talked about them a little bit yesterday. I still have no idea who the point guard of the Philadelphia 76ers is going to be, the starting point guard. I know people are going to say Tyrese Maxey could do it, or Pat Beverly could do it, or I saw people saying Jalen Springer could do it coming off the bench a little bit. I think we still got a problem with no James Harden. And just in the one simple sense of who's going to run the point. Somebody's got to do it. I'm a big beard member also. How do you eat spaghetti without getting sauce in your beard? You don't. You don't not get it. There's always something getting in your beard. It is what it is. You got to constantly check it, constantly, clean it out. It is what it is. Maybe they should make like a beard bib for us bearded guys. Maybe I will do that. Maybe the next time we go out, I'll get like a old mask or something like that and just cup it over there. I don't know. I'm a messy eater also. There's never a day goes by where something ain't growing or falling into my beard. Grown men get beers and spaghetti in their beard. The beer is always the beer gets in the beer gets in the mustache and the beard. The spaghetti for sure. Um, Anything like that. Any kind of saucy food or soups and stuff like that. No doubt. Or when you eat wings and all the wing sauce gets in your beard, it's a guarantee. There's literally no doubt that stuff's getting in your beard at all times. All right, we hit the 9 o'clock hour here. We're going to continue firing through all the comments as well. Make sure you hit the like button here. It's the 9 o'clock hour trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. I am Phil Stiefel. We are going to start going game by game in the NFL here. Slowly. We're going to keep firing your Eagles comments, Sixers comments, Phillies comments, whatever you want to talk about. I'll keep rapid firing them, but I'm also going to start going through some of these games and make my predictions on them. Guys, if you see this, the boss. Oh shoot, the boss is always getting in the way. I need a barber's cape whenever I eat because enough. Yeah, man, always something. My wife made herself a pizza yesterday at the shop. And she's like, "Do you want to say something?" Like, "Nah, I'm full." She's like, "No, just have a piece." So I go and have one piece, and a piece of chicken and tomato fell right onto my shorts. Those shorts done for the week. Without a doubt. Beard maintenance could be a separate stream. I do zero beard maintenance. Occasionally, I'll condition it. Occasionally, I'll comb it, but however it is, it is. I just let it roll. I let it have a mind of its own. All right, this week. So obviously, 49ers beat the Giants last night. We all knew that was going to happen. First game on ESPN's sheet here. Browns home. They got the Titans visiting them. The Cleveland Browns are 3.5-point favorites against those Titans. Nick Chubb injury, obviously a big deal. Emotional mess for the Browns. Titans, they're an okay team. Ryan Tannehill's manageable. I don't buy the Browns being a good football team. I think they're okay. I would pick the Titans to cover the 3.5 points, and the Titans actually probably win this game outright, in my opinion. I'm writing these down so I know what I'm at. I got the Titans beating the Browns in Cleveland outright. That's prediction number one. And give me your thoughts on as I go through these games, even if you're not caught up, and I catch up to your comments in a few minutes. I will get your ideas on them. But I got Browns losing to the Titans this week. Week 2, next game 2 on this list. Falcons visiting Detroit. Is it still Ford Field? I don't know. I would assume Detroit's a 3-point favorite over the Falcons. I buy the Detroit Lions this year, and I got the Detroit Lions covering and winning that game. The Falcons, they're 2-0. They're not 2-0 good. Brian, uh, yeah, Bijan Robinson has been really good for them, obviously, so far. They're a solid up-and-coming team. I just don't think they're that good yet. I don't think Desmond Ritter is that good of a quarterback. The Lions are much further ahead in the development. I've got the Lions covering the 3 points and winning to go to 2-1 on the season. That's my opinion on that. The next game on this list, I've got the Packers home. 1-1 Packers home against the Lions and Packers are 1-1. Falcons and Saints, and you can throw the Bucks are 2-0. That's insane to me. But the Packers home, 1-1 against the Saints. Packers are 1.5-point favorites. It's a tough one for me, but I got to go Packers at home. -1.5 winning that game. Again, the Saints are a good defensive team. I just don't know um, if they're that good. Lions and Falcons, most overrated teams in the NFC. The Falcons are definitely an overrated 2-0 team for sure. The Lions, whew, I don't know. Are the Lions overrated? You're making me think for a second, K1. Are they overrated? I mean, they've got Jared Goff playing well. They got good wide receivers. They've got a well-coached team. I don't know. I'm not sure if you're onto something there or not. Um, this week, if they lose to the Falcons, that'll tell me something. Maybe. Um, no way Packers win. Packers? I don't know how the Saints aren't that great in my opinion. I think the Saints are overrated. The Lions have a lot of injuries. They do. Jared Goff, I don't think he's not good. He's not great, but he's a good quarterback. I would take him over Desmond Ritter. I would take him over Ryan Tannehill. There's a lot of guys I would take Jared Goff over. I think Jared Goff's actually underrated. He's not a great quarterback. He's very mid. But there are a lot of starting quarterbacks in the NFL that I would put below Jared Goff. So I don't know if Jared Goff's bad, like you're saying there. Falcons stink. Goff a clown. There's some tough matchups to pick this week. But might be picking these games the way I'm not saying I like these teams. I just like them over their opponents. But is anyone in the NFC North or South contenders? Probably. Oh, I had nobody in the NFC South finishing 500, and they got 3 teams 2-0 already. So that goes to show how much I know on these things there. So yeah, I got the Packers beating the Saints barely. Next game on the agenda: Dolphins are home 2-0 against the 0-2 Broncos. Dolphins are 6.5-point favorites. Tua, 2-week MVP candidate so far. The Broncos absolutely stink. Russell Wilson, the Eagles, and so many teams dodged a bullet by not trading for Russell Wilson. He might be washed, guys. Clear as day. There's a chance that Russell Wilson is washed. And let me tell you something. Those Broncos are going to struggle to win a lot of games this year. You know, I thought that was one of those teams I thought were going to be bad, but I was kind of felt the pressure of I don't want to be a troll clickbait person by saying they're only going to win 5 games, but they're not good. The Dolphins win this game pretty handily. They're 6.5-point favorites. I'll take the 6.5. But hell, I wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins win that game double digits at all. They're just not good. Broncos with the upset. Darian throwing the grenade from left field. Man, that would be a big win. That would prove everything I just said about Russell Wilson completely wrong. But good luck to you. I won't bet that game. Trust me, I'm not betting that Dolphins game. I was considering it, but now you just I don't even know who Darian is, but him dropping that, it is off my betting card. Off of it completely. I will not take that chance now. Russ wasn't horrible last game. Are you sure? I don't know. I didn't watch a lot of it, but I don't know if he was. He might not have been bad, but he wasn't good. Dolphins are crushed. I still say the Dolphins. Dolphins win by double digits, but that's my opinion. This is a tough one to pick too. Here, there's a lot of games with bad record teams that should be good and good record teams that should be bad. And here's one of them. At 1:00 on Fox, you got the 0-2 Chargers going to the 0-2 Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are a 1-point favorite in that game. Could you imagine that? You got 2 0-2 teams that were both playoff teams, and the home team's only 1 point. It's crazy. Nah, not betting. I'm just saying. I love it. I love a bold prediction like that. Love it. And you better watch Monday because I'm going to call you out on that, Darian. Hold on, I'm writing your name down. Darian, Broncos upset. I'm writing it down. I'm calling you out on Monday when you're wrong on that one. Broncos outline was terrible. Yeah, I mean the whole team is not very good. Chargers Vikings. How the hell do you predict a Chargers Vikings game? I have no idea how you predict it. Like, I have no clue. Like, how do you predict 2 0-2 teams that both should be 1-1 or 2-0 at this point? I could say the Vikings are going to win because of the home team, but then the Chargers will win. And I wouldn't be surprised. I could say the Chargers would win, and then the Vikings would win, and I'd have no clue. I'm just going to go with the Chargers. Win that game +1. I don't know how to predict that game. That is probably the hardest game on this slot to predict because you got 2 good teams that are both really bad. I don't know how you do that. I'm watching Monday. I'm an Eagles fan, born and bred. Definitely call me. Oh, don't you worry, I will. That's what we do on this show. Everybody calls me out nonstop, so I'll call you out too. Don't you worry. I'll be here live 8:15 a.m. Monday too. Is Eckler start? Actually, I forgot about that. Eckler is out. He's on my fantasy team, so we're switching it. Vikings. Vikings win -1. Um, he's on my fantasy team, and he's got the 0 point projection on one of my fantasy teams. So Eckler is out in that game. Totally forgot about that. Uh, Darian Ross Burner, maybe. Vikings and Chargers have zero defense. Start everyone that game. So you say I should start Josh Kelly? I did that last week and it didn't work out. I'll go Vikings -1 in that game. Jets. Zach Wilson led versus the Patriots on the road. Jets are 1-1. Patriots 0-2. The Patriots, the road team, are 2.5 point favorites. I'm just going to tell you right now, Jets are winning this game outright. I mean, you can take the plus 2.5. The Jets defense is going to have to step up their game. It's going to have to. So the Jets are going to step up their game defensively. They're going to protect, Zach Wilson a little bit in the sense where he won't have to do much, and that'll be that because of the defense. So I'm going to have the Jets upset there. Vikings by 6. Staley gets fired after the game. I thought Ron Rivera would be the first coach fired, but if the Chargers start 0-3, Staley might be the first coach fired. Yeah, Eckler, I have Eckler in my freebie family league with my nephew who sends me 75 trades a day because he just wants his favorite players and he doesn't care what he's got to do. So he's got 0 on ESPN fantasy. So that's that. Jets have a top D, absolutely, and that's why I got the Jets beating the Patriots. I can see a pick 6 against Mac Jones there in that game. Next game, another 1 o'clock game. Washington, 2-0 Washington Commanders. Who would have thunk it? Get the visitors from Buffalo, TMC's team. Buffalo is only a 6 point favorite in this game. I am surprised that Buffalo is not hasn't played great both weeks. Washington's played over their head, in my opinion. While I was impressed last game with Sam Howell and the Commanders, I don't think they're good enough to beat the Bills. I think the Bills win. I think the Bills cover the 6 points in that game. Um, I don't know about handily. It is going to be a slop. I don't know how the weather will be. I know Baltimore's really sketchy for Saturday and Sunday. The weather report right now doesn't look too bad in Washington on Sunday for game time. So maybe it would clear out, but I don't know. I still got Buffalo winning that game, and I don't think it'll be too big of a deal for them. Buffalo winning 100-6. Put some money on that for sure. And let's see how you win that. Washington or frauds. I could agree with that, K1. It's going to be a battle for last place in the NFC East still, in my opinion. Even though I know the Washington's 2-0, they still might only win 4 or 5. What is good? Yeah, that's right. That's right. Next game on the agenda here. Firing through these here. Texans are going to Jacksonville. Texans are 0-2, obviously. Jacksonville's 1-1. Jacksonville is a 8.5 point favorite. I think that line's a little high. I think the Jags win, but I don't know if 8.5. I think the Jags can cover that. They got to make a statement, Jacksonville. This is the kind of game where Doug Peterson gets his team firing all cylinders. They didn't look good offensively last week against Kansas City, but they were good the week before. Texans, I mean, the Texans actually, CJ Stroud doesn't look awful, but I'm still going to say, that the Jags win that game. Giants got the bottom on lock. We'll see. We'll see. Jags need to win. Jags need to get going. Jags need a big win. Jacksonville and all the hype we all gave them, all football fans gave them. Jacksonville needs to go out and just smoke Houston and win 35-10, just to calm the nerves of the Jacksonville faithful. Minshew, I probably is starting for the Colts. Not positive on that. I don't know if they've made an announcement, but I don't think it really matters in the Colts game. We'll get to the Colts game in a second, but I mean, I don't think it matters really because hold on, the next game on the agenda is the Colts game. So yeah, I got the Jags covering barely the 8.5. So you got Colts going to Baltimore to play Baltimore Ravens. Colts 1-1. Baltimore's 2-0. I think Baltimore's the real deal. They haven't been clean all season, but I still think they're the real deal. And I think Baltimore wins that game, whether it's Minshew, whether it's Anthony Richardson. It's Baltimore wins, Baltimore covers. Um, I don't think there's much of a game there. in my opinion. If the Commanders make the playoffs, Eric Bieniemy gets a head coaching job next season. If Washington doesn't make the playoffs, he still gets a head coaching job next year for taking over for Ron Rivera. Eric Bieniemy will be the head coach of the Washington Commanders by season's end and before the season's over, and he'll probably keep the job into next year. That would be my best guess. Pats better win. I picked them like 12 in confidence in league. Okay, I mean, I think the Jets win, but maybe you're right. Eric Bieniemy replaces paddle boat. Yeah, because he ain't riverboat Ron. He's paddle. He's the kayak Ron or something like that, or little fishing boat Ron. He ain't no riverboat Ron anymore. That's for sure. So yeah, I got Baltimore. That was the end of the 1 o'clock. First 4 o'clock game on the agenda this week. We've got Panthers visiting Seattle. Panthers are 0-2. Obviously, Seattle's 1-1. Seattle's a 6-point favorite. Seattle covers. I don't think there's a problem there. Panthers, people are picking the Panthers to win 8, 10, 11 games, and I said they were nuts for doing that. The Panthers aren't that good yet. They still got a little ways to go. All I know, Cowboys losing now. We're gonna get to the Cowboys game in a minute here, Travis, and we'll think. I'm thinking about it. Seattle 28-14 Panthers could very easily be the score. Seattle's a 6-point favorite, but I could see that. Tugboat Ron, what are you talking about? He needs a tugboat to get him across the line. Um, so yeah, I got Seattle winning that game for sure. Chiefs get those Bears in KC. Chiefs are a 12.5-point favorite, and I don't know if that's enough. Like the Bears are an absolute total disaster and have to go on the road to the defending Super Bowl champions. Are you crazy? The Chiefs are going to smoke the Bears this week. Without a doubt, the Chiefs are going to smoke the Bears. It might be the biggest upset or the biggest if they don't cover 12.5, that might be the biggest upset of the week. That plus 12.5 win. That's how bad that is. The other 4 o'clock game, you got the Cowboys on the road in Arizona, and we've already had one for the Cowboys are what 12.5-point favorites as well. Yeah, I gotta pick the Cowboys. I have to pick them. I don't want to pick them, but all I know is Travis saying they're going down. Man, could you imagine Jonathan Gannon doing the Eagles a solid? You know, Jonathan Gannon has pissed off every Eagles fan in Philadelphia. Jonathan Gannon going out and doing a solid and whooping up on the Cowboys. Cowboys fans would say, "Oh, we lost Trayvon Diggs. That's why." I don't care if you lost 40% of your team. You shouldn't lose to the Cardinals. The Cardinals might not win one or two games. Cardinals might not win 2 games this year. There's a really strong chance that they don't win 1 game this year. But man, Travis, it would be fantastic if that happened. It would be great if the Jonathan Gannon just go out there and help the Eagles just one final time. I feel bad. I cost us the Super Bowl. All right, you know what? I'll give you one, guys. Let's go out and win one for the Philadelphia Eagles. You know that would be the ultimate right there. But it's not going to happen. KC should put up a 50 burger against the Bears without a doubt. The Cowboys should put up a 50 burger against the Cardinals. Like, how's that the 425 main Fox primetime game? You're telling me I would rather watch the Panthers Seahawks game or one of these 1 o'clock games in that. I do not want to watch the Cowboys play the Cardinals. I don't. I mean, it's going to be a brutal game to watch. The Bears are a tire fire. You can see it 20 miles away. I mean, it's bad. Cowboys definitely win huge. I agree with you there. Arizona nearly beat the Commies. Yeah, and they nearly beat the Giants too. They're playing like a how do I say this? They're playing like the 10-win Sam Hinkie Sixers, where they're tanking. They're going to put up an effort. There are pro players on that team. They're going to keep some games close. They might win one here or there, but they're going to, at the end of every game, collapse because they're trying to get that number 1 pick. That's what's going on there in Arizona. Boy, if they lose to the Cardinals, I would say that would be the upset of the decade if the Cardinals go out and beat the Cowboys this weekend. And it's in Arizona. Think about it. So they're 12.5-point favorites on the road. That means that on a neutral field that they'd be a 15.5-point favorite. Like, they think they're better than – this is a 30-10, 40-10 kind of game. The Chiefs are 12.5-point favorites, but they're at home. So on a neutral field, they think that the Bears are only 9.5 points better than or Chiefs are only 9.5 points better than the Bears. Like that is like there's such a disparity between the Cowboys and the Cardinals. Man, as an Eagles fan, I hate to see it. Everybody's going to keep talking about how great the Cowboys are because they keep blowing all these teams out. But if you look at the games and who's playing who at this moment, there's something to that too. Fox's Pizza, need Kelly Green drip. No, 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 no. Free pizza, dude. I will give. No, who said? Hold on, I gotta go back up. Hold on. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Travis gets free pizza at my pizza shop on Monday for predicting it if the Cowboys lose to the Cardinals. Just Travis. I got a free pizza of your choice to Travis if that happens. But then I can't buy everybody pizza. Um, I got you when it comes. Cardinals are a sleeper. Hollywood Brown and that running quarterback. Dude, you're trying. You're trying to find some thread of positivity. Try. You didn't even know the quarterback's name. You had to wait for K1 to pop up. Josh Dobbs, sleeper fantasy stardom. No, you're nuts. What's the payout for that upset? I might risk. I don't know. I don't know what the odds are. I don't know what the numbers are on it yet. Along with doing a fantasy football show, I might do a gambling show starting soon on the weekends as well, where I break down all my favorite bets of the week and stuff like that, Damien. But man, if you drop $150 on the Cardinals winning, man, there's got to be a massive payout on that. And I just wouldn't recommend it. Just give me half the money and we'll call it even. No need to waste it on any sports app or anything like that. Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton might be a better quarterback than some of the guys going for the Cardinals. Dude, it's bad. It's bad. And then there's one other game left on this chart, the Sunday night football game. We'll do the 2 Monday night games, the Eagles game and then the Rams-Bengals game on Monday. But you got the Steelers visiting Vegas. Vegas is a 2.5-point favorite in that game. The Steelers and Raiders are both 1-1. I'm going to go with the Steelers winning this game, actually. Um, I think they win it. Not just cover the 1.5 point or 2.5 points because that's basically a pick 'em. I think the Steelers are okay. I think the Steelers could win 8 or 9 games this year. The Raiders aren't going to win 7. I don't think the Raiders are that good. Jimmy Garoppolo is okay. But I got the Steelers winning that game as well on Sunday night. It's because of the loss of Diggs. Hits big with that defense. They're so sad. They're going to cry. Travis, I'm telling you, you come to my pizza shop on Monday, I will buy you a pizza for the Eagles game if the Cardinals beat the Cowboys. And dude, could you imagine, as an Eagles fan, as an Eagles show, we might have to go extra early in the morning on Monday live on this show just to spend an extra 15 minutes making fun of the Cowboys if that happened. Because man, that would be. I don't think any other upset could happen the rest of the year that would be as shocking as the Arizona Cardinals beating the Cowboys. 425 prime time. They probably got. I don't even know who the A team for Fox is anymore. I know it's not good the announcing on any of the broadcasts anymore. But could you imagine? That would be insanity, insanity, insanity. All right, guys, we're coming up to the final 5 minutes of the show here. We've talked it all today. We've gone through the full entire Sunday slate of games. We've talked Eagles. We've touched on the Phillies and the Sixers a little bit. No one answered my Sixers question. Who's going to be the starting point guard for the Sixers this year? At some point, we're going to have to discuss that. Camp starts in like a week and a half. I still don't know who the starting quarterback. Might even get a $500 super chat if Travis better give me a $500 super chat if he bets 500 on the Cardinals to win outright, and I don't get a touch of that, even though it wasn't my idea. $500 super chat. Hey, I take the $5. I appreciate the $5 super chats. Even the $1.99 super chats work for me as well. And Maxey, starting point guard, baby. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I think Maxey's a better off guard player. I think he plays better off guard. But at this moment, he is the starting point guard. It's going to be him and Pat Beverly in the backcourt, probably starting at this point, which I'm not sure I like it, but it might be. Might be the way it goes. Um, I'm just not thrilled with him as the main guy bringing up the ball. You're going to see more Joel Embiid point center. You're going to see Tobias Harris bring up the ball more. He could do that. I don't think you're going to have. I don't think we have a point guard on this team right now. All my homies are Cowboys fans. Well, that's gotta suck. That would be Christmas in September. They would just be making excuses. That's all. Man, you need new friends, Darian. If all your friends are Cowboys fans, you need new friends. I'm just gonna tell you that. Tyrese Maxey. You guys got a lot of faith in Tyrese Maxey. We'll give bonus coverage. That would be good value. No bonus coverage today. After we trade Harden for Levine, well, there are some Zach Levine rumors starting to float around that there moves. I think a big trade around the NFL or NBA, whether it's with James Harden, the Sixers, Dame Lillard, Portland, there's going to be a big trade happening before the season starts somewhere along the line. The algo will reward you, Phil. Hey, I want that algo. We got to get our algo back. This week's been a little rough with the algo, taking a few days off. The starting point guards ask when it's not football time. No, I ask what I want to ask. My show. Kelly Oubre ain't the starting point guard. He's going to be your sixth man of the year, or sixth man coming off the bench, not of the year. You definitely need new friends. Yeah, he definitely needs new friends. Can Core 12 unite? Can you guys all friend my man Darian and make him an honorary friend? Did you know that the tomato plant in indigenous into America, Italians didn't add tomato sauce to the pizza until Columbus discovered the New World and brought tomato back? Did not know that. I have been to Italy and had a lot of great tomato pies over in Italy. Yeah, his friends do stink. I have you now. I'm your friend. The whole Core 12. Darian, new show for you. Make sure you subscribe and turn the notifications on. We're live every single morning, 5 days a week here. The core guys you see commenting constantly. We call them the Core 12. You got to show up more than once, though, to be part of the Core 12. It's hashtag Core 12. Eric, Mister, Mad Chatter. There's a lot of them. K1, a lot of them. No baseball too. I talked baseball today. You must have missed it. What's plus 1,000? Is that the Cardinals winning outright? Because that would be hilarious if somebody bet that and hit. Anyway, time to wrap up the shebang here for the day. Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. Yeah, the algorithm was off this week, but it was still a fun week. It was great to be back. Great to get back into the routine. Like I said, if you turn the notifications on, if I have free time on Saturday night, I might do a fantasy football live stream Saturday night and a little gambling live stream. I've already made a graphic for it. Trending in the AM, in the PM, talking fantasy football and gambling. I might do it. You never know. So if you have the notifications, it's that little bell at the bottom of the screen. You turn them on. It sends a notification to your phone when I go live. As long as you subscribe to the channel. Can be the Kelly Oubre. Okay, Darian, you're the Kelly Oubre. I like it. I think we can make that happen. He's the newcomer. He's got to prove himself still, right? Yeah, I know we have 3 minutes, but by the time I get through all these wrap-up questions, man, chatter, and all these wrap-up things, then it's 9:30. It takes 5 minutes to wrap this show up on a regular basis. Chill on my friends. Y'all moved from Philly to North Carolina. So you're in North Carolina and you don't have any Panthers friends. You got Cowboys friends. North Carolina's cool though. Where in North Carolina do you live, Darian? I got married in North Carolina, down the Outer Banks. So I'm an Outer Banker, down in Hatteras and Frisco. Fantasy live stream would explode. It's just finding the right time to do it. Everybody does one Sunday morning. So I'm thinking, Saturday nights, but if I make plans on a Saturday night, then I'm not going to want to do it. I'm thinking about it. Got to find the right time. I'm going to start. I might do like a few different times over the next couple of weeks and then find the time that works best. That's why you got to like the video and turn notifications on. Got to get the notification so everybody knows when I'm out there. But anyway, see, and now, man, chatter, now there's only a minute left in the show. Minute and a half left in the show. And we're still not even done. Wilmington. What about Wilmington? Wilmington. He lives in Wilmington, Darian. Wilmington, North Carolina. Maybe that's what he means. I don't know. Anyway, trending in the AM. Right here on Philadelphia Sports Network Live. I am Phil Stiefel. Likes, comments, everything, even when you're watching on replay, do matter. I thought the Outer Banks was in Florida. Who knew? The Outer Banks are in North Carolina. And the Outer Banks are not like the Outer Banks you see on the TV show. Not that I watched it. I watched like 5 seconds of it with my wife. She watched the rest of it. I did not. But it's nothing like the Outer Banks, just so you know. Not even filmed in the Outer Banks. We're in Colorado. I don't even know where that is. But anyway, we got to wrap this shebang up for the day. Trending the AM. For Philadelphia Sports Network, I am Phil Stiefel. Make sure you hit that like button, the subscribe button, that share button. It doesn't cost a thing to do it. Y'all have a great Friday. We will see you on Monday to preview this Eagles-Buccaneers game, to recap the NFL week, and to cheer on everybody that said the Cardinals are going to upset the Cowboys. But for everybody, thank you very much. Looking forward to the NBA season. Not looking forward to winter. I don't like the cold. I hate the cold, man. Go Bears. Peace out, Eric. Y'all have a great day. Trending in the AM. I'm Phil Stiefel. Yo, go Birds.